Have you been wondering just how good Maker's Mark Cellar Age is? You're not by yourself, so have I. Unfortunately, I was unable to get my hands on it over the past couple of weeks, so in honor of that, I'm going to do a blind tasting tonight with 3 different Maker's Mark expressions that aren't your run-of-the-mill Maker's Mark Original in 46, nor is it the Cellar Aged. Stay tuned and keep it simple.
Call me a showstopper, show rocker, blow lots of dope copper, new whip. Who's this? James Hicks. But I also go by sin. Never lose cause I always win. At the door and I'm breaking in, think you got it on lock.
Welcome to the Simple Whiskey Show. Tonight I'm going to take you on a remarkable journey of blind tasting Maker's Mark BEP, private select from a store in North Carolina, as well as Maker's Mark Cask Strength. Maker's Mark Cask Strength, batch 2203, coming in at 109.7 proof, 54.85% alcohol by volume. This surprisingly smooth bourbon retains the signature front-of-palate flavors from Maker's Mark while amping up the notes of oak, caramel, vanilla, and spice. Maker's Mark Private Selection by Onslow County ABC store in North Carolina. This is their Winter 2023 release, coming in at 109.1 proof, 54.55% alcohol by volume, picked February 2023. Stave details: 4 seared French Cuvée, 2 Maker's Mark 46, 2 roasted French Mocha, and 2 toasted French Spice. This Maker's Mark is from the Wood Finishing series, actually the last bottle of the Wood Finishing series, the 2023 limited release BEP. Comes in at 109.6 proof, 54.8% alcohol by volume. And the stave details: 10 virgin toasted American oak staves. Now for the fun. I have all 3 here, even pours. I'm gonna go through all of them first for just the nose, go back through and taste, and then go back through them one more time to determine which one I like the best, which one I like the least. And then at the end, I'll reveal which one actually wins. So let's dive right in. This first one, very subtle. Caramel, spice. Second one, this one has more of an apple scent to it. And then the final one, well, I guess in terms of cinnamon, kind of a cinnamony spice. So I got more of a sweetness, kind of like a caramel on this one, a apple note on this one, more of a cinnamony note on this one. Let's go in for a taste. Okay, so that finish is really strong. Very, very viscous, liquidy, thicker mouthfeel on it. So good texture to it, good taste, good oakiness. Let's try the second one. Not quite as viscous, not as much viscosity or mouthfeel thickness as the first one. Still good. The apple pie note or apple note definitely went away in the taste, but it then picked back up with more of a baking spice. Let's try the third one. That one probably has the most variety in flavor. On this one, initially I was getting cinnamon. I don't get a whole bunch of cinnamon on this taste now. What I do get on this is more of that caramel taste that I thought I smelled on the first one. I get more of that caramel taste on this one. Definitely a lingering finish on this. And that sweetness transpires almost into like a burnt oak, almost like a double oaked type flavor, and not quite as sweet as like a Woodford, but just almost tastes double oaked. So I'm gonna go back through them all one more time, start eliminating one, and then knock it down to 2. So go back to the first one. Okay, so now, complete monkey wrench. When I first tasted this one, I was talking about how proofy it appeared on the palate. But when you go back for that second taste after you've already had 3 different tastes, This actually tastes the most dull, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean in terms of proof. This almost has the more lackluster punch after having the other two. But that flavor still comes through, and it still has something sweet about it. The finish is no longer as strong as what it was the first go around, but definitely still a good one. Let's give the second one another try. Okay, so I felt that one almost like a retro hell of a cigar. I could feel it in my nose, but not in a bad way. It was more of the finish on it still lingers. I'm still getting more of that apple spice, more of that, some sort of a spice that kind of reminds me of Old Forester Statesman, the finish at least, and some of that lingering on the palate. Let's try the third one. That one definitely, I know I said it the first go around, but the amount of different flavors I get as soon as that hits my mouth is just, it's remarkable. It has such a explosiveness, and I don't mean that in a high alcohol content perspective. I don't mean that in a spicy perspective. I mean that it's hitting you with flavor, it's hitting you with a thicker viscosity from all sides as soon as you go to switch it around. And then that finish is not too hot, not too cool, and it's still oaky without being over the top double oaked. So this one stays for the next round. As for these two, it's tough. I'm gonna have to eliminate number two. So I'm down to 1 and 3 from the beginning. Number 2's been eliminated. Let's figure out which one of these is my favorite, and I can meet my makers. Number 1 is just surprisingly smooth, especially for something that's in the 110 to 109 or whatever the proofs were. Between the three of them, this is extremely smooth. Let's try the third one. I don't know, I guess after you go through 3 of them multiple times, they all seem to smooth out, obviously, because you've had 3 different 110 proof or around 110 proof bourbons. And as you continuously go back to each of them, they end up smoothing out a little bit more. But something about the flavor profile on this one just stands out to me. Something about it just, I don't know, it's good. This one's really good too. I'm not taking anything away from this one, but I keep gravitating back to this one just in terms of how complex the flavor is. It doesn't just dull me out, and not that this does in a bad way, but this one tastes a little more traditional bourbon profile, and this tastes a little bit more intriguing, like I just want to keep going back for more. So now let's figure out who the winner is. All right, so the first one eliminated was number 2, and number 2, Cash Strength. So that got 3rd place in this blind tasting. I ended up going with number 3 as the winner, so let's see who got the runner-up. Runner-up ended up being the Private Select over here, and luckily, surprisingly but not surprisingly, BEP ended up eking out the competition. It is definitely one of my go-tos. If you see a bottle of this anywhere, pick it up, get a backup bottle. Still a good one, not taking anything away from it, just not quite as complex as these two. And then this one was a very close second. I think I'll be going to this one a little bit more than what I had previously. It's definitely gotten better since it's had a chance to open up, but I'll still be going back to this Maker's BEP. All right, well, that concludes our Meet Your Makers journey for tonight. BEP came out on top. If you've had any of these 3 or have an opinion on any of them or any of the ones that maybe I didn't do in the tasting tonight, please leave them in the comments. I love to know what you guys think. I love to know what some of your favorites are. If you've had the Maker's Mark Cellar Age, also leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on that one as well. Until the next video, everyone, keep it simple.